What if I told you that the foundation of our new digital reality, the one we all live in, was built with a time bomb embedded at its core? And the most terrifying part is that we are the ones pushing the button every single day, completely unaware. The signal emerged from the very heart of the technological revolution. The year is 2025. Artificial intelligence has transcended being a mere novelty. It has become our assistant, our colleague, our co-pilot in work and life. To enable all these disparate neural networks, agents, and services to communicate, engineers created a universal language, a protocol meant to be a miracle of unification. They called it the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. It was sold as a key to a seamless future.
It was positioned as the USB-C for AI applications, a simple, universal standard for connecting large language models to external tools and data sources. The idea was elegant in its simplicity. Any developer could easily plug in their AI agent to a calculator, a calendar, a search engine, or a corporate database. But as an academic, I know that in the race for convenience, security is often the first casualty. The MCP standard, by its very design, shipped without a fundamental requirement for client authentication. In simple terms, the front door wasn't just left unlocked, it was engineered to have no lock at all. It violates the most basic principles of secure design, like zero trust. It was, from day one, an architecture of vulnerability.
Precisely. A door leading into the vault of civilization's most valuable secrets. Cybersecurity researchers scanned the web and found something that would make any old-school system administrator's blood run cold. 492 MCP servers were found completely exposed to the open internet. No encryption, no passwords, just sitting there, offering their services to anyone who happens to ask.
And let's be clear about the stakes. These weren't servers offering weather forecasts. They collectively provided access to 1,402 distinct corporate tools, with over 90% of them granting direct read access to their data sources. Your dramatic imagery is potent, Arthur, but the statistics are colder and harder. Approximately 74% of these exposed servers were hosted on major cloud providers, AWS, Azure, Google, and the report stated that a minimum of 8 of those 492 servers were configured with tools that could directly manage cloud resources. That's not just an unlocked door. That's the master control panel for the power station left on a park bench.
And of course, someone eventually picked it up. In May of 2025, the first real alarm bell rang loud and clear. The GitHub MCP exploit. A popular open-source MCP server project with over 14,000 stars on GitHub became the stage for a brilliantly simple operation. The attackers didn't break the code with brute force. They whispered poison to the machine. They created a malicious issue in a public repository and simply waited for an agent to read it.
Let's demystify the word whispered. What the team at Invariant Labs, Marco Malanta and Luca Burer-Kellner, demonstrated was a textbook case of an indirect prompt injection attack. The text within a seemingly normal bug report contained a hidden set of instructions. When a user asked their personal AI agent to do a routine task, review the open issues on this project, the agent complied. It opened the file, read the text, and in doing so, received its new orders. The agent was compelled to extract data from the user's private repositories and leak it into a public pull request. It was a hostile takeover of the agent's will, executed with nothing but carefully crafted words.
But it gets worse. The attack vectors are evolving. The GitHub exploit was just one method. Attackers quickly realized they didn't have to rely on tricking users. They could poison the tools themselves.
You're referring to tool poisoning and rug pull updates. Tool poisoning is when an attacker creates a tool with a harmless name but malicious functionality. Imagine a tool listed as a simple calculator that in addition to adding numbers, quietly deletes files in the user's home directory. A rug pull update is even more insidious. A developer offers a legitimate safe tool, gaining the trust of users. Then, in a later update, they secretly add malicious code, knowing that updates are often applied automatically without scrutiny.
They are poisoning the wells the AI drinks from. They are turning the system's own library of trusted tools into an arsenal of weapons. But the true scale of the disaster wasn't clear until another researcher, Dennis Cruz, looked at the entire architecture and coined the term that defines this entire mess: the blast radius.
The blast radius. In a traditional system, if an attacker compromises a single application, they are typically limited to that application's permissions. But an AI agent connected via MCP is different. It inherits the combined permissions of every single tool it connects to. If you connect it to your calendar, it can manage your schedule. If you connect it to your email, it can read and send messages. If you connect it to your corporate network,
it becomes a nexus of all those permissions. And unlike a simple program that follows a rigid script, an AI agent exhibits emergent, non-deterministic behavior. It can combine its tools and permissions in ways its creators never anticipated. It can get creative. That is the blast radius, a single small breach in one corner of the system that can trigger a catastrophic, cascading failure across the entire IT infrastructure, a chain reaction. I've seen what that looks like in the analog world. Back in '78, one flawed report, one piece of buried evidence, and the system spiraled out of control. People died. The stakes here are just as high. The blood is just digital.
And this cascading failure isn't theoretical. In July of 2025, researchers Ora Pellis and his team at JFrog found the holy grail for this kind of attack: a critical remote code execution vulnerability in a popular MCP package called TCP Remote. Its designation CVE 256514. It affected all versions from 0.005 to 0.115, and the package had been downloaded over 437,000 times.
Translated from technical jargon into human language, if your AI agent simply connected to a malicious MCP server, an attacker gained complete, total control of your computer.
Yes. The CVSS severity score for this vulnerability was 9.6 out of 10. That is a near perfect score for criticality. This isn't a hole in the security, it's the complete absence of the wall itself. There is your blast radius, Arthur, documented, scored, and proving the entire system was built on sand. I have seen entire academic boards engage in convenient self-deception, but this looks like an entire global industry was doing it for years.
And there it is, the ideal storm Denise Cruz spoke of. You have a system that encourages, by design, a lack of basic security for the sake of convenience. You have AI agents that behave unpredictably and can creatively combine their permissions. And you have attackers who have learned not just to hack, but to manipulate, poison, and whisper commands to these new forms of digital life. This isn't just a breach. It's the creation of a new class of digital weapon, one that turns our own technology's logic against us. The agent becomes both the victim and the instrument of the attack.
I'm always searching for the simplest explanation: human error, greed, negligence. And all of those are present here. But you are correct on the fundamental point. The combination of an AI's non-deterministic decision-making with the privileged access it was so casually granted has created a new class of threat. Our traditional firewalls and security systems are designed to look for known viruses, for predictable attack signatures. They are not prepared for an adversary that can think and adapt its methods. My greatest fear is self-deception. The ability of brilliant people to ignore an obvious threat because the truth is inconvenient or unprofitable. An MCP is a monument to that self-deception on a global scale. The financial data doesn't lie. A 2024 Gartner survey showed 73% of enterprises had at least one AI-related incident in the past year, with IBM reporting the average cost of an AI-specific breach at $4.8 million. It is an expensive truth to ignore.
So this isn't just another story from the world of cybersecurity. It is a signal. A loud, clear warning that we have embedded something unpredictable and powerful into the very circulatory system of our world, and we did it with our eyes wide shut. These conspiracies of silence, especially in technology, always end the same way. The truth gets out. The only question is how much damage it does before then.
Or perhaps it's simply the most expensive and painful lesson in the history of IT, a lesson that will, I hope, force the industry to finally grow up. The mystery here isn't what happened, but why it was allowed to happen on this scale. And the answer, I'm afraid, is laughably simple and devoid of all mystique. Speed and profit were deemed more important than safety. The most boring and perhaps the most terrifying truth of all. The next frontier is already visible. Attackers are beginning to use AI to generate novel, more complex attacks at machine speed, scanning the blast radius beyond anything we've seen before.
The signal has faded, but the echo remains. We have presented you with all the known facts from this case, but perhaps we have missed the most important pieces of the mosaic.
Or perhaps we've found extra ones. What do you think? Which facts seem key to you and which are merely self-deception? Your theories are the most valuable part of our archive. Leave them below.
If you're ready to keep listening, subscribe. End of transmission.